So, Bob, I know it was a rough 2020 based on how the season had to go and ultimately how things finished for you guys in the ALDS. But if I could start on a positive note, what things actually did go well, all things considered, in 2020?
Well, we played, which for a while it didn't look like we were going to. We played well. We got off to a good start. We accomplished a lot of the things that we intended to when we came to spring training for the first time. We won our division. We hosted a playoff series, and we won one at home. So all that's good. But until you actually finish and or the last team standing, then even the farther you go along, the more painful it gets. So whenever you get beat in the postseason, it's painful.
I know nobody in the process of the season wanted to make excuses and wanted to throw things out there that would look like they are making excuses. But what real limitations were there from player perspectives or from coaching perspectives? What things could you guys just simply not do that were your normal routines usually?
Well, I think it was harder on the players from a functional standpoint, and they're so routine oriented, and they have a time that they get to the ballpark, which they weren't allowed to. So you had to kind of condense these things. After a while, I guess you kind of get used to it. Us, it was just more of a mental grind. And do we have enough time to get to the ballpark and prepare like we normally do? It just always felt like you were rushed. And then all the other things that you had to go through to actually get to the ballpark and get into the ballpark. But you know what? We ended up playing, and I think we also showed that we could play during a pandemic, stay relatively safe, learn a lot of new things along the way on how to get it done, and I think maybe be a template for some other sports as well.
You say relatively safe, and I agree. That's definitely the case, but there was the scare in Houston where you guys were there for a couple extra days and quarantined and locked up and individually in your hotel rooms. I know that was, aside from all the baseball experiences you've ever had, that had to be something new and different, and that had to be actually something that was mentally taxing on you and everybody else.
Was the worst part of the whole thing. Sitting in a hotel room, not knowing how long you were going to be there, a lot of uncertainty. It was kind of like the Armageddon that you were hoping never happened to your team because we felt like we were diligent. We felt like we were doing all the right things. And the way it went down, too, it couldn't have been helped. So I can't get too far into that, but I felt like we were good about it. But boy, you talk about a mental grind sitting in a hotel room for 4 days and really knowing is there an end to this? That was the toughest part of the season.